What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again. Yep, I'm in the same shirt as I was on Thursday, I believe. That's when I'm making this. If you call back to that video, I did say that I'll be out of town. So we're making them for the future. Generally going to be like a pretty generic vid. But, you know, it's necessary. So, what I wanted to talk about today is really Borderlands 4 and how excited I am for it. We're about 2 weeks out for it, and it is looking good. I honestly was a little bit fearful for this one just because Borderlands 3 was kind of a hit or miss depending on what you kind of want from the series. But overall, Borderlands 4 is looking promising. The only other time that I've actually covered it was whenever they first announced it with like the 19-minute gameplay that they first showed. But overall, everything that we've seen since then has been pretty good. As far as like the Vault Hunters and everything, with them giving us 2 additional Vault Hunters in the DLC after, I think that that is a strong and good move. But I do hope that they also surprise us with a second season pass where they give each one of the 6 Vault Hunters a 4th skill tree. Now, I know that they have talked about some of the level caps and everything. I've been trying to stay hands off with that as far as like the grind and the gameplay cycle and everything. I did want to like know a little bit about the Vault Hunters, but I haven't been watching all of the trailers. The only one that I watched was for the Siren with her and what's the pet's name? I don't know, her little tiger. I think it's like Pain or something like that. They're probably going to grill me for not even knowing that off the top of my head and, you know, being over here trying to talk about it. But I have been seeing a lot of hype around it, so I know that they're doing a lot of press for it with it being 2 weeks out. More than likely contacting a lot of these like content creators, paying them and everything to do a promo for it just to get it on the map and stuff and get more people interested. Now, whenever the game was first announced, it did have a lot of controversy around the price point for it because it was going to be, you know, we all know that it was more than likely going to be $80 until somebody asked about it, and then Randy Pitchford had the audacity to be like, well, that's not my decision. Well, whose damn decision is it? But yeah, it did end up getting like dropped down to 70 and everything, which is I think like a pretty fair price point for a AAA game. Depending on if it delivers like Borderlands 2 did, it could potentially give us months, if not years worth of entertainment and longevity and replayability. But I have been seeing a few things about the Vault Hunters just because I wanted to like, you know, get a better understanding of what I'm going to be getting myself into. And everything that I have been seeing has seemed good. As far as like the different kind of play styles, I think that they're finally to a point where they actually can tie into certain play styles for every different kind of first person looter shooter kind of player. So we have like Rafa, where, you know, if you're like a classic, you know, FPS kind of guy and you're just like into running and gunning and, you know, essentially the COD players, the Battlefield players, those kinds of people that aren't used to these kinds of games coming over and playing them, I'm pretty sure a lot of them are going to be gravitating towards him. And then we have, if I'm not mistaken, I think his name is Vex. He's like a Viking looking character. I'm not really interested in him, though I do think that he does look pretty cool. A lot of people are saying that he's going to like have a power set more towards like a mystical kind of set, which is kind of neat because if you know anything about the Borderlands series, it is based on like Dungeons and Dragons. Like they wanted to make a game that was very similar to Dungeons and Dragons in the sense of like looting and shooting, but like, you know, going on raids and quests and everything and all that jazz. And I think that he's going to be the kind of character that is going to be more like most alike with that because he obviously has a bunch of melee builds in it. His whole first action skill that we've gotten to see from him is him throwing 2 axes, 2 giant battle axes, you know, through the battlefield, and then one like doing like a spinning tornado kind of vortex thing. Damn, I hope that didn't hurt you guys' ear when I hit that microphone. But and then we have the Maliwan soldier. I also forget her name. As you can tell, I have not been paying attention to a lot of them and a lot of the detail. In fact, I think I just got that character prior to this, his name wrong. I think Vex is actually the Siren. But the Maliwan soldier, there's a lot of like lore tidbits tied to her that people are talking about. I know Moxie was stating that potentially she could be the kind of character that from Borderlands 3, when you're fighting Katagawa, whenever Zero says that somebody stole his like tech suit or like the tech from his suit, that she could potentially have been the character he was talking about for that, though there's nothing to confirm that. Mostly just because a lot of her technology allegedly is the kind of technology that Maliwan uses for their everyday fighting and whatnot whenever you see them. Now, for her, she honestly is more like a mimic character in my opinion, because she has a lot of different things that are callbacks to the previous games, where she has like the phase lock similar to Maya, and like the slam similar to Amara with the phase lock, not necessarily like the jumping slam like a freaking Titan from Destiny 2, but like she can like pull them up in a ball and then like slam them and bounce them around and stuff. And I think that that's going to be extremely fun for people that, you know, want to play a more techie kind of character who has, you know, different synergies in different areas. Obviously, with her being a Maliwan soldier, we are expecting her to have a lot of elemental things, you know, synergies and whatnot, which is to me a little strange because usually that's, you know, kept for the Siren character. But hey, I'm not saying that multiple characters can't have that. I think that that would be super neat. But she does look extremely fun to play. And like, you know, Moxie said, she looks like she's going to be a hell of a fight inside of the end game. Like very strong, very, very solid choice. Now, for me, I, in recent years, have switched over towards the more, like, switching over to the Siren character for my playthroughs, just because they're like, I feel like the most tied in with the lore and the most fun usually, especially with this one. Now, obviously, they're definitely going for the Gen Z, you know, fantasy of getting with some goth e-girl shit for the way that her character design is. But with her having like a pet tiger and the wings off rip, I was sold. I was like, okay, cool. Pink siren powers, you know, we're going all in for it. It's not like, well, I guess potentially we don't know yet, but it's not where, you know, her siren powers are depicted in the color of like the element that she's using. So maybe she's not going to have a lot of elemental damage synergy, but who knows yet? I'm sure people probably do. But again, I'm trying to steer clear of like most of the details for the game and whatnot. But I think overall that she's going to look really fun, because I remember back in Borderlands 3, Flack was super fun with the synergy that you could have with his pets, and I'm sure that she's going to feel very similar to that. Now, as for the other two characters that we're going to be getting, I don't have any clue what they could be giving us, but I want to say one thing, and I just really, really, really hope that they do not give us another melee character. Melee builds are fun, but me personally, I think 1 out of 6 people is enough. I said it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. If you want to play a melee build, make a melee build out of one of the new characters, bro. Like, don't focus the whole damn character around that crap. Now, another thing that I did get to see that was like super neat is that it's going to be one gigantic map. Allegedly, it's going to be like almost as big as like a GTA 5 map is what I was hearing, or something like that, with like 4 big spaces that are going to be really expandable and really like explorable, as well as hidden vaults throughout all of those different spaces. I'm extremely hyped. I have pre-ordered, you know, had to do it. It's one of my favorite game series. I'm sure like nobody really knows that about me, just because I don't really play it all too much anymore, just because the ones in the recent years haven't been super replayable in my opinion. But it is looking pretty promising. I'm going to be playing it day 1 in 2 weeks from now, hoping to be clearing it out pretty quick, so that way we can already get into the end game as fast as possible. And who knows, I'm really hoping that this is going to be my replacement looter shooter game for Destiny 2, because unfortunately that game is just going on the downhill track. They need to drop the Destiny 3, bro. Please, please, please. But with that being said, that's really all I got for you guys today. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Come back, stop by the channel tomorrow. I'll be uploading a little bit late for that day, just because I will be driving back home. But I do appreciate y'all for stopping by. Peace.